Hello, everyone. It's Sunday once again. It's definitely my favorite day of the week because I get the chance to talk to awesome drummers every Sunday. It's now gone 4 minutes past 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in the UK, which means like 4 minutes past 9 p.m. in Manila. And I hope that some of you are still watching us, or no, some of you are watching us in Manila and also here in the UK as well. So today's episode, I'll be chatting to one of the most incredible and most exciting drummers I've ever seen live. And they released an album last year, actually. It's this one here. It's called The Big Decider. And to be honest, this is one of my most favorite albums of 2024, not of all time as well. So I'm really glad. I love this album so much. And I've only found out that our guest today is also the co-producer of this amazing album, together with Nile Rodgers and the amazing Ian Brody. So he's here now. My dear friends, please welcome our awesome guest for today, Sean Payne. Yay! Hello, Sean. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Anne?
I'm fine, thank you. The last time I saw you was at the Paul Heaton gig at
Yeah,
Co-op Live. So how have you been?
yeah, good, good. It's been an interesting year, but yeah, I've been good. Just doing different things, doing my own music, stuff like that, and
Yeah,
just having a. I've had a decent year, to be honest. It's been quite nice.
yeah. I mean, I asked you before we came on live about if it's okay for me to ask you about the Zutons, because
Yeah,
I know that you've left. You left in March. So, but before I ask you that, I'm going to ask you about that later on in the show. First, I wanted to welcome you to Ask the Drummer. Episode 181 is all about you, Sean Payne. Do you know when I was doing my script, I found out that there's another Sean Payne, but he plays saxophone, not drums.
no, I've seen it. Didn't he? He won like Young British Musician of the Year or something like that. Like my friend sent it to me, and he was like, "This isn't you."
Yeah. I
Yeah,
had to make sure that I'm not reading the article about him because
yeah.
it was so like, does he play saxophone as well as drums?
No, no.
So that's not you. You're from Liverpool,
Yeah,
and I know that you're born in a musical family. 'Cause it's like I want to call it like a Liverpool musical dynasty. Together with the Kellys, and there's the Paynes,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. So, what was your Liverpool like when you were growing up?
I don't, you know, I didn't actually grow up totally in Liverpool. I grew up, I was born in Liverpool. I lived here till I was about 7, and then my family we moved to New York, and I lived there for quite a few. We were back and forth from Liverpool to New York, so
Oh,
Liverpool it's always been like home to me, but I haven't always lived here. So, but like New York's like a second home to me, even though I kind of spent my formative years there between like 7 and 14. So,
oh
but
wow.
I didn't start drumming until I was in Liverpool.
So, what was New York like at the time when you were like, during your formative years?
Um, I don't know. It's just where you live, isn't it? It was eye opening going from Liverpool to there because it was just obviously we moved there in like 1986, so
Wow.
it was probably like I don't know. It was like the movies. That's all I could say. It was like we moved into like a movie set basically because a lot of the films in the 80s and stuff were and like
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
early 90s were very New York. So it was like that really. And then it was I don't know. I went to school there and everything. I just started to blend into. To you have to when you're a kid, don't you? You have to just
Yeah.
get on with it and just do what you do, kind of thing. So it's it was interesting as it was, and I miss it a lot sometimes.
Oh, right. But you're back here now. But we're back in Liverpool now.
I'm in Liverpool now. Yeah, I've been back
Yeah.
here for. I lived in LA for about 4 years, from 2015 to 2019,
Oh,
and then
wow.
when COVID and all that happened, I ended up having to stay here. So and then I've just stayed here since. I didn't fancy going back.
Yeah. Yeah. before I actually continue, because I've got a friend who's a drummer. He's a drummer in a band called and he's asking about Howie. He said,
Right.
yeah, he said he wanted to know if Howie's gonna be playing again and reforming the stands, if you know.
Know what? And he was probably my biggest influence getting into music, because he's my older brother. But yeah, I think so. I think he is gonna. He's always been doing music, but he got a great band together just before all COVID and the lockdown and stuff, and they done like,
Yeah.
I think they might have done one gig or something like that, and then they couldn't do any more gigs. So that was unfortunate. And I think he's been working in publishing and stuff like that, but he's always writing songs and everything. So I imagine he will be coming back
Oh,
out
that's
soon.
brilliant.
Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, brilliant news for David. So I hope he's watching. Uh,
Yeah.
so, um, so are your mom and dad, are they musicians as well, or
No, no,
just
no. They weren't having. My mum and dad weren't anything to do with music. No, it was just. I don't know. I think they always loved music. My mum had like an encyclopedic knowledge of songs, like going back to the 20s and stuff like that. Like, but she wasn't a musician, and my dad wasn't really. I think my dad played like a snare drum in Boys Brigade or something, but that would like I never seen him do anything like that. You know what I mean?
yeah?
It's
So
no doubt.
is that where you got the drumming bit from your dad?
No, maybe fit in jeans, but not in No, I never seen him touch a drum or anything like that. It was just, I think one of our neighbors in New York had the drum. Had like we borrowed a snare drum once, and we just had it in the house messing about, and that was the only time I ever seen him do that. But I'd say it was my brother. He's the one he was the start of it, really, of the actual playing instruments.
All right. But what got you into? Because he plays guitar, right? He's a
Yeah,
guitarist.
yeah. And I
So,
started on guitar as well.
oh,
I
okay.
started on guitar, and then I tried bass. And then he actually said to me, he said, "There's so many bass players and guitarists." He was like, "You should be a drummer because people always need drummers." And so I just did. I sat on the drums and I just took to them straight away. I could play them kind of a little bit straight away. So I felt the most comfortable on the
Did
drum.
Did you have drumming lessons, like proper drumming lessons?
No, no. I took like I went. I was sitting at the bus stop one day and I had my sticks in my hand, and there was a drum teacher who lived by the bus stop, and he come out and he was and then I ended up he blagged me into getting a lesson with him. So I had one lesson with him, but I wasn't a very good studious person, and it was more about hitting things. So I didn't have to. I just wanted to play along to music, and I wanted to. I guess he wanted to take me. He wanted me to start there and build up, and I wanted to be there straight away. So that's the other thing. But I was
Why were you carrying drumsticks? Do you mind me asking?
no, because I'd started to play the drums.
Oh, you
One of my
started.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
school had a drum kit that was all beat up, and I wasn't very good at some of my other lessons. So I used to go to the music stock room, fix the
Yeah.
drum kit up, and kind of play it a little bit. So it was like that really.
Right. And what was your first band as a drummer?
Um, the first band was just me and a group of mates, and we never actually done a gig. We all fell out with each other before that happened.
Hunting. Yeah.
And then it was this girl. There was an American girl called Kelly Vaughan, and she was around Liverpool, and it was like I used to go out to clubs, but I was much too young. And she told me she was playing with all of these other guys who I loved, sort of thing, and I like thought they were great musicians, but they were all older than me. And she mentioned she needed the drummer, and I was like, "Oh, I play drums." But I turned up to the first rehearsal in my school uniform, and all the other people were like in the 20s, you know. Kept the gig. I got the gig anyway, and it was only one gig, and then ended up recording an album with her as well when I was about. I think I must have been about 16 or 17.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So you think that I often sort of like ask the guests about this one. Do you think that being a drummer or knowing how to play the drums is in you, or it's like one of those things that you're gifted with the skills of playing the drums, or anybody can learn it?
I think anyone. I think it's like anyone can learn it, but I think there was something there in me that I just felt naturally, like it was more natural than any other instruments I'd tried. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think it's like if the feel of it is what I've always sort of relied on. So, um, I think that's either in you or maybe it isn't.
yeah. So I gotta say first that Aiden O'Rourke, who's our tech support, said that sound and vision very good. So that's okay. So
Okay, great.
so basically, it's the Zutons that's your first uh, band, or you had so like apart from this one that you played with Kelly Vaughan, you said that
Yeah,
you played
and
drums.
then I was in a band called the Big Kids after that, which was a guy called Edgar Jones from.
Yeah, of course. I was gonna I was gonna ask that because but then when I looked at your Discogs entry, the Big Kids are so like after the Zutons, right? Or is it
Yeah, you know what?
before?
It was because that was when I was like 18, 19, and they we just done demos. We never released anything, and then years later
I
they
see.
released a couple of tracks, and so it comes up as it was like 2007 or something like that.
Yeah,
But it it,
yeah, yeah,
it, uh, it was actually like 1999 when we made those recordings, and that was with my brother Howie, Russ, who
yeah,
was
yeah,
and Edgar. Yeah, but that was a really good
yeah.
band, a great band.
I love Edgar Jones. He is absolutely amazing, and he still plays that song. Actually, I'm bored. He
Yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
plays,
There's
when he does solo. So,
uh,
yeah, it says there that it was released in 2011. So you actually did a demo of that in the 90s
that
before it was.
recording that got brought out. Yeah, that was recorded in '99.
I see. And what about the Israelites?
Yeah, and that was
That's
so
another band
that was
again with that
before.
Jones.
Yeah, and that was before then. That was when I was like 16. Yeah, and but he was like a hero, man. I loved the band The Stairs. Like they were like my favorite band, and so when he asked me to, he'd actually give me. I was in a band called The Lodgers before that, and he'd actually called me because he was playing with Kelly Vaughan. That's so that's
Oh,
and then he suggested me for another band, and then he kind of pinched me off that band to join the Israelites, and so I started playing with them, and then I played with Lee Mavers for a little bit, but we didn't actually do any gigs. So that was, and then
oh,
after that, I went back to playing with Edgar.
that's fantastic. I mean, these are like Liverpool heroes, like Edgar Jones, Lee Mavers. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
That's but I learned so much off all of them. My brother Edgar, Lee, like I learned like
yeah,
so
yeah.
much off all of them because they were like you say, like they were up there for me.
Yeah. I mean, I know that New York, when it comes to music, I mean, it's also one of the best music cities in the whole wide world. But Liverpool, I don't know what it is. What do you say is what is it about Liverpool that produce a lot of amazing musicians? Like even nowadays, I mean, now there's so many bands that are really, really good in Liverpool.
Yeah, there's
But
some really good bands, and there always seems to be. I don't know. Maybe it's something in the water, or some lineage of. I don't know. You look at. There's always someone to look up to who's done it, and they just live around the corner from where you are. So I think when you have that, you always think it's possible, and and that's a big inspiration, I guess. So maybe that's a part for me. That I just seen all these people like great musicians, and I was like, well, I want to do that, and so
yeah,
that's what made me start playing. And then
yeah, and,
you
yeah,
start realizing, oh, just echoing the Bunnymen and like, well, whoever all of these other bands is like throughout the years.
yeah, yeah. And Mick Head. Mick
Yeah,
Head, the other one. That's amazing. I've got to say Mick Head because he's
yeah.
like my favorite.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Um,
Oh, he's great.
yeah, yeah. And you all seem to be like connected because when I looked at your Disco Century and I found out you actually played with Edgar Jones, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
So, any of the bands that you played in before you formed? Because you're one of the founding members of the Zutons.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's to be honest, it went from them bands, the big kids, and then into playing with Dave and that because um, he was the first. They were that was the first time I'd been in a band with all people my age because it was always like me playing with older people, and then Russ started playing with me in Edgar's band, and we were just kind of we were mates because we were the same age, but they were like quite a bit older than us, and then Alan Wills from Delta Sonic. Like we were mates with Dave and everything, and he was in a band called Tramp Attack. And
Yeah.
then Alan Wills, who started Delta Sonic, he said you should get together and you should play together. And we hadn't even thought of doing that. So, or Dave hadn't thought of asking us. So we started just playing together and jamming, and it just went from there, really.
Yeah. Well, Alan Wills, he was an amazing drummer as well, wasn't he?
It was
He
good
was like,
fun, yeah.
yeah, the Sonic. Um, so I want to ask you now about the Zutons because that's really your main or your main band. So, so you got back, you got together with Dave McCabe. Who came up with the name, the Zutons?
Dave, that was Dave.
Oh. And, I mean, I looked this up on Google, and apparently it's a Captain Beefheart's guitarist.
It was a mistake. He thought his name was Zuton Rolo, but his name was Zoot Horn Rolo.
Zuton.
So he said to me, I remember it was in a club, and he went, "I've got the name." And he'd whisper and he'd come over in my ear, and every names we'd all said the different names at the time, and it was always like, yeah, yeah. And then as soon as he like, music was loud, and he was like, the Zutons, and I was like, wow, that's great. Oh, where'd you get that? And he was like Captain Beefheart's guitarist. I was like, that's not his name. And he was like, perfect. So it all made sense. And as soon as I think we all just liked it straight away.
Yeah, yeah. And so you formed in 2001?
I'd
Is
say
it
so around then, yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably around 2000, around then. So,
2000?
and then we didn't release anything until the first EP, which I think was 2001.
Yeah, because I do remember the Zutons when I was here. Yeah, I came here in 1996, and I remember because Valerie was very very famous at
Yeah,
the time,
yeah,
but then it became like up there, like mega famous when Amy Winehouse
yeah.
did
That
a
should become
version
something
of
else.
it. I mean, because when I told my daughter about this, because she's 24, and I said to her, "That's not an Amy Winehouse song," and I told her about the Zutons. Of course, oh wow! It was so what do you think of that? I mean, because by that time, I think you already split up, or are you still together by that
No,
time?
we were still together. That's it. I think Amy's version come out a year after our version come out. So it was like ours come out in 2006, and then we played together on the Hootenanny with Jules Holland, and Amy was there. And I think that week or a little bit after, she was choosing a song to go on the versions with Mark Ronson, and they
Yeah,
could pick one, and then they ended up picking that one. So, and it is what it's just it's unbelievable, really. Everywhere in the world you go, everybody knows that song, and
yeah.
it's crazy, really.
Yeah, and it's the young people. The young people really know the Amy Winehouse song and not the Zutons originals.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, and when anybody says they know our version of it, it shocks me because it's their version everywhere. It's like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and again, according to Google, you saw like split up in 2009. So what happened at the time? So you just
You
saw like
know, I think it was just we weren't really. It was we weren't really doing our best stuff. We didn't like the album we'd done previously. We didn't really like the third record, and it was all like a lot of record company stuff where all the like Delta Sonic sort of did wasn't they were concentrating on younger bands, and we were signed to Sony through them, and it just kept up being a lot of different personnel changes, and it was like we didn't really have an A&R person who was guiding us really or anything like in the right way. Do you know what I mean? So we were kind of we were just
yeah,
we were just like getting thrown in to do it. And we had to do the record, and really we probably shouldn't have made that record and should have took a little bit of time. But when you're so busy at the time and everything's doing great and all that, then it's
yeah,
like you want to just carry on. I think people are more conscious of that now because I don't think we were in the best shape. You know what I mean? And if someone could have said, "Oh, it'll take 6 months," we might not have wanted to. It might have been a hard thing to say, but sometimes I think you see artists now doing it who like have blown up and stuff, and it does them the world of good to have that little break and take stock of what's gone on. But we didn't have a chance to, so we just ended up saying, "Oh, do you know what?" And it was going great. Everything was like, but we just didn't feel it ourselves. We just knew we weren't doing our best stuff, and it wasn't going to get any better at the time.
Yeah, yeah. But then you got back. Oh, actually, before we carry on, I just want to say hello to Monty Mendigoria. He's watching from the hospital. I hope you're feeling better, Monty. I think he had an operation. He's in the Philippines, so hello, Monty. Get well soon. So, but then you got back. I mean, it's like, and then last year, I've got to say this because I know that you're going somewhere today, but I've got to say that this album, which was released last year, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, the intro. I say. I mean, I posted this today on Facebook that it's got one of the best intros of like album ever because we do need cowbells. I think we cowbells is just absolutely amazing.
You know, I love cowbells.
Yeah, I think every band should have cowbells all the time. But so you got back together and produced this or released this album, and you got an amazing year touring.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to ask you. This is from the song from the album. I want to ask you the most powerful question in the universe.
Uh,
Why? Why? So you left in March. So I just want to ask you that. You know, why?
it just wasn't. I don't know. We weren't. It took that album was so. It took a long time and it was really stressful. And then I just think it kind of took its toll on our relationships a little bit through the year, and I just wasn't feel. It just wasn't. It didn't feel right to me, the situation I was in anymore. So I just thought, oh, I'm going to do other things. It was sort of, yeah, I just wasn't happy in the situation really. So
Oh,
as much as it upset me and everything, it was just I feel happier for not being a part of the band now.
okay. And is that it? They're definitely not going back.
Well,
You
you never know. Who
know,
knows? It's I haven't. It's who knows? Who knows what happens in the future? But
yeah.
for myself, I think that's yeah. I'm happy doing my own thing at the moment.
Well,
It's
well,
really it's a stressful situation. It can be sometimes. So
yeah, yeah. Well, I want to ask you about that, but I wanted to ask you first. What was it like working with Nile Rodgers?
it was just surreal. It was amazing, really. Like from in lockdown, I keep on saying that because that's when it was sort of all come about. But we were meant to be doing it, like we were going to go do the record with him, and we met him on FaceTime, and he was like, "I love the song," and he was singing the song to us, and then it was like, and then from that point, we couldn't. We had to wait like 10 months or something like that. I can't remember to go in, so it just dragged on a little bit, and we started writing new songs and all that kind of stuff, and then it was like straight out of lockdown. Went down to Abbey Road, and we were just in a room with Nile Rodgers, so it was all a bit surreal. You know, it was like, wow, this is like unbelievable. And then I think I don't know. It was just we hadn't really seen each other. Do you know what I mean? For a long time, like I'd been living with Dave, and then Abby had sort of started coming round, and but Boyan was doing his own thing, and so we hadn't really been together. That was the first time we'd all been together. We didn't really have a lot of time to work the stuff out, and
Yeah,
once we'd done it and we took stock, we realised it wasn't really a lot of it wasn't the type of music we'd want to be making, and Boyan left the band then. So it was like, so it all that happened, and then we had to start to take stock of where we were, re-record stuff, that kind of thing. But Niall was great. Niall was like, he's just such a chill fella, and his musical knowledge is it's unbelievable.
yeah. Again, he's one of the legends. But Ian Brody, you've worked with him with your first album already. So I've read an article online that apparently as soon as he heard Creeping on the Dance Floor, he said, "Yes, I want to get involved." It's
Yeah,
or the Big Decider. Sorry, the Big Decider.
good
Um,
society.
yeah,
So
because
that, yeah, because we were in a situation where we didn't really know who to turn to, sort of thing, and we didn't want a chance going in with another producer, or we didn't know. So we just we had a meeting with our management, and we just said, we were like, Ian would be perfect if we could get him, but he wasn't really producing at the time, or he always says he's not producing. And then when he heard the songs, I think he was like, okay, I'm interested. But I actually played with the Lightning Seeds after the Zutons split up the first time. I played with the Lightning Seeds, I think it was a year or 2 years or something like that, like doing live shows with them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So before is that before Jim Sharrock, so like
Yeah,
became the
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
before Jim, I think I was the drummer before him. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And because I bought this one, which is the 7 inch of Creeping on the Dance Floor, and it's a double A
yeah.
single, and the double A side's got an Ian Brody version. So it's like
I actually like that version better.
the Ian Brody one.
Yeah, yeah, because it's totally like the one we done on the album. That's kind of the one that Niall done, and that's kind of it's just like the demo really, because we had a really good demo for that one. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I always wanted it to be a little bit more, and I think that one's cooler, but the one on the album's more like straightforward. I guess it's more hard hitting, but that one I think is more musical and cool.
Well, it's Ian Brody, so like signature one. He's
Yeah.
amazing. Um, so now what are you up to? I mean, what have you been doing since leaving the Zutons? Have you got any albums coming out or?
And I've been writing music a lot, and with the I've just come back from Italy. It was with the Jaded Hearts Club, with the band I do with all them other guys, and
It's a
we've
super
been,
group.
I guess, we've been writing some originals, and then me and Abby have been writing together and working on stuff. So I think we're gonna bring some music out soon.
Oh, brilliant! So, since you've already mentioned the Jaded Hearts Club, again, that's the first time I've actually heard about it. The full title of it is Dr. Pepper's Jaded Hearts Club Band, because apparently you used to do like uh just the Beatles covers.
That's how it started out, by our friend just asking us all. It was his 40th birthday, and he'd went and asked for like some top Beatles band in LA, and they wanted like an extortionate amount of money, and he was like, "Hang on, I've got all my mates can play." And he knew me and Matt and Graham and Nick and Miles and all them, and so he kind of asked us all to play for his 40th, and we just made that name of Dr. Pepper's Jaded Hearts Club Band just as a joke. And then we ditched the Dr. Pepper's part because it stopped being a joke, sort of thing. So we thought, oh, the Jaded Hearts Club, we'll just call it that. And then we started doing more like soul. I mean, it was always covers because we didn't want to. We always wanted to be like a party thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
kind of wanted to do a bunch of kind of obscure songs from the 60s and stuff, and make them more a bit more modern sounding, and that's what we kind of done on the record. But now we sort of go, okay, let's do some originals and see how it goes, because I think,
wow.
yeah, so I don't know, I think going into originals straight away would have been a weird thing with all of them, you
Yeah,
know, just
yeah.
all talent in the room, I suppose.
But you have released a couple of albums according to Discogs together. It's like, so
Yeah,
are
yeah,
those all like cover versions of like
yeah,
the
they're
Beatles
all
songs?
just all cover versions, yeah, yeah.
Oh, right. That's fantastic. Because I've got to say, it's Miles Kane, Matt Bellamy of Muse, and Graham Coxon of Blur, and then yourself.
Yeah,
And I was like, God,
Nick
it's
from Jet.
yeah. So, you know, when fans, so have you done like gigs, not for your friends, but actual gigs that fans can go and
Yeah,
oh
yeah, we've played we done South by Southwest. Like it was like a secret sort of kind of show there at like Rachel Ray's barbecue or something. and then we done the Albert Hall with Roger Daltrey for the Teenage Cancer Trust. We done
Oh, wow.
that, and we've done a few. We've done the 100 Club in London, and we've just done a few select gigs here and there, sort of thing. Not
Yeah,
not a,
yeah.
not too many. There might be we might do one this year. I'm not sure, but it's
Oh,
it's it's so hard to get everybody together.
well, because they're still doing their own things.
Yeah,
Um,
we've all been doing. That's it. So everyone, it's if you get a window and you can go, okay, we've got a week there where everyone's free, then we'll put some rehearsals in and go in. But it's just probably the most fun band I've ever been in, and I think it might be like that for everybody because everybody knows what to do and everyone's really good, and there's no talk. You just go in and play, and as soon as you start playing, everyone's like, yeah.
and what sort of like, because having Blur and Miles Kane and Muse fans going to your gigs, that
Yeah,
must be absolutely amazing to have, and the Zutons fans as well.
yeah.
So are you thinking that you're going to do one this year? Uh,
Hopefully, yeah, yeah. I'm not
yeah,
sure when. Just talk of it. Talk. Well, there's always talk of it, but we never know when it's going to happen. So,
but
um,
there's an album coming out. Hope.
well, we've just started. We've just been on it. We just wrote some songs and recorded some. And I don't know about an album coming out, but there will be music coming out at some point. But I'm not sure when. I just turn up and play. I don't have anything to do with anything other than that. Really, just having a laugh with the lads.
Yeah. And you as a solo artist, when can we see you sort of like playing live as
I don't think I'll be a solo artist. That's it. Being a drummer, really. I think a lot of the time you need something, other people to play with. So I think me and Abby from the band we're going to do a project, and she'll probably be more fronting it, and I'll be playing
oh,
drums.
well, Phil Collins, who's a drummer, he's done some
I've
stuff.
got one of them mics. I need one of them mics, don't I? So I can get up and walk around, and I just haven't got one of them yet.
Well, I do feel sad that you're not in the Zutons anymore, but you're doing your own thing now, and you've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
some projects, and you've got the Jaded Hearts Club as well. So I really wish you luck in all these things, and hopefully we'll get to see you play live soon. Because I mean, I've got to sort of like wrap this up because you're going with your family at 3 o'clock this
Yeah,
afternoon.
but don't worry about that. It's just when the conversation's good, I can
Are
always
you
don't
sure?
don't rush. Don't rush it. I want it to be good for you as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, that's all right. So, yeah, with all these, what I wanted to ask you, with the Zutons, because for me, it's actually, I've got to admit to this one that Valerie is so big that for me, it's the only one that I really remember the
Right.
most until your album last year came along. But for most of your fans, because I've seen you so many about 4 times now, and the fans themselves, they're absolutely amazing. They know everything. They say so like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So have you heard like for some of the fans saying that, because I know that Paul McGuire, who's now playing
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and the Zutons. He's amazing.
Yeah. He's great.
He's
Isn't he?
and like you said, I mean, you have been a fan of the Stairs.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a big influence on me when I was young. First time I seen him play, I was like totally blown away. Because he was the first drummer I'd seen who was like other drummers who I love. I love like Mitch Mitchell and all the old English drummers, Ginger Baker, Nick Mason, Mick Avery, Keith Moon. I loved all of them original drummers, sort of thing. And when I seen him play, he's the only drummer I'd seen who was a bit like that. Like he set his kit up a bit like them. His kit sounded like that, and it was like he didn't get a lot of retro things back then, I suppose. And it was a bit of a dirty word in Liverpool, but they blew me away. And then he gave me some. He didn't give me lessons, but I got friendly with him, and he would give me some pointers because I always wanted to know how to get my drums sounding like that way, and he taught me kind of how to tune them a little bit and stuff like that. He
Yeah,
tuned
yeah.
my kit up for me a little bit. I've always been big on tuning, so like drums.
Do you do your own tuning?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You do, because I
yeah,
know that you've got a drum tech.
yeah. But I never really, I don't really like having like the drum tech's a necessary thing, but I set my own drums up and I do everything with my drums myself because I just love doing it. Really, I love everything about it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
the babies.
Well, doing Ask the Drummer, I actually found out the importance of having a drum tech because,
Yeah, well,
you know, for bands like Lightning Seeds are quite big and the Zutons, you have to make sure that it's not the drummers themselves who are doing these things because, you know, in case they break their fingers or something, which happened to you, I believe.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
Me.
that's why Paul McGuire, so like,
Yeah, he stepped
took
in for me
over.
then. Yeah, because I broke my hand and he stepped in for me. When was that? About 2005, 4, 5, something like that. Yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, I think it was around then.
Yeah, yeah. He's, I mean, with his hair, it's really wild when he plays. He's, as opposed to, I mean, you've got shorter hair now. When you had your hair quite sort of like, just
Oh
like
yeah, he used to end up in my mouth and everything.
a friend of mine actually sent me a clip of you playing at, God, the one in Stockport. There's um, there's a place there in Stockport that you play there. It's like,
Oh,
it's
last
a
year.
bar. Well,
Yeah,
it's only recent. I think it was last year.
yeah.
And it's so amazing seeing that clip, the way you're so animated and playing, and you know,
Uh,
you're a showman yourself.
oh,
Which is
right, thanks.
brilliant.
I don't know. I guess that I don't mean to be. I guess that's just the way I sort of play and put myself across on the drums. But I think I've always liked drummers, like Gene Krupa and the ones who like Art Blakey and Buddy Rich and all them kind of people. I've always who are showmen, but I don't think. I think it's more like I don't know. It's weird being on the drums because you're sitting down, so you're just trying to give the energy, and I think it's the energy that comes across. Like because I
Oh.
never feel like I'm being a showman because I'm sitting down behind everyone.
Yeah, but I always think that maybe the drummer should be a different as well.
Me
Because I
too.
think
Me too. No, it's better. Do you know what? Whenever I stand up on stage and walk out to the front of the drums, I'm always like, this. It's not my place. You know what I mean? It just feels totally alien to me.
so you don't think you want to be a front man?
No, no, no.
Okay. Oh, it's a shame because you do backing vocals as well.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah. No, it's. But no, I'm happy in as a side man.
okay. Well, like I said, I mean, I'm really, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing you play live again, and you know, being a showman thing, and because one of the things I like asking drummers when they come on the show is, do you know, do you twirl when you play drums? I know you're very sort of like animated and things, but
No, I can't do any of them tricks. No, I've tried like maybe one like twirl, but then I can't get it back around the other way. I go from traditional to match grip. Like that's about as much twirling as I'll do, you know. But
yeah,
no, I
but
think so, but I admire people who can do that. I don't know. I'm so concentrated on playing. I can't do it. Yeah.
yeah, this is a question because I didn't realize that you actually lived in New York before coming back to Liverpool. Do you think that if you stayed in New York, would you be uh, in the band or maybe just doing something else? I know it's not really a question because
No, I
it was
don't
in
know.
Liverpool that you found a band, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was always interested in music. I think maybe I had friends over there who like DJ'd and stuff, and I started like I lived in Queens, and I guess at the time it was when like a lot of hip hop was coming around, like Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul and Jungle Brothers and all that stuff. And I had
Yeah.
mates who their their older brothers were DJs, and they'd show us little things on the decks and how to scratch and stuff like that. But so maybe I'd have went down that route. I don't know, but it never happened. So just Liverpool was the place.
Is that something that you might do in the future? Because you know a lot of drummers or musicians anyway, they get asked to DJ.
Yeah,
Is that something that you might?
I used to like I used to play some of them records, out in
I
clubs and
was yeah,
like
I was just looking at your record collection there. It looks amazing.
nice one. Yeah, no, we used to, but the only I'm no good at it. You know what I mean? Like what people do now, it's like I don't know. It all seems to be high tech for me. I can put a record on and put it into the next record, and that's about it.
Not mixing. You don't
No,
mix like things. What
no.
sort of can I just ask you what sort of genre most of your records are? Are they
I'd say mostly nothing past I don't know 1979 probably. Well, there's a few, but it's pretty much I don't know from jazz to funk, soul, or like
all right?
West Coast music. Um, like yeah, like just band songs that kind of like just all classic records, I guess.
Not none of the Zutons.
Usually sometimes in there.
You've got the Zutons in there. But do you get inspired by those sort of like music that you play, like
Yeah,
those?
definitely. I think more by I think like jazz drummers, like who are the ones who I kind of gravitated towards. And I don't play jazz or anything like that, but I just think I love the feel and the style, and I love like the way that when jazz drummers started playing funk and soul, like the swing that they gave that music. So I think that's anything that swings, I'm sort of into it.
Well, it's completely different. So like um, uh, group of drummers, the jazz drummers and the rock drummers, because I found out that there are actually some rock drummers can't do the jazz style of
Oh,
drumming.
definitely. I think you've got to get brought up in that, or you grab. I don't know. It's yeah. It's. I think that's where. I think when the people who've learned jazz and then go to other music, I always think they're the best drummers.
Yeah. Can you play like jazz things?
A
Would you
bit.
consider yourself that being able to do or become a jazz drummer?
I wouldn't become a jazz drummer, but I do like playing. I like messing about in that style like I practice and stuff, and
Yeah.
that's yeah. I like the music, so I think it's all it's there's a lot of things to go off in it, like sort of there's like a lot of vocabulary from everybody. So like the horn players, rhythms, and there's a lot of stuff to like play off in it, and like everyone's sort of busy creating their own space. So it's something I don't get bored of listening to it ever.
Do you read notes?
No,
Okay. Is that,
I couldn't be a jazz drummer. Well, maybe I could be, but that's somewhere I always feel like an imposter because of that.
oh, because doing at festivals or when it's your gig and then there's sort of like one or two support bands. Do you always use your kit? Do you always use your drum kit, or do you let other people, other bands use your drum kit?
No, I don't think. I think that's something that happens with drummers that I don't, and it doesn't happen with guitarists. You know what I mean? You don't turn
No,
up
no,
and
yeah,
it's like, oh, can I use your guitar? So
yeah,
I think it's a bit of a. I don't think you should ever turn up expectant to be able to use someone else's drum kit. You know what I mean? I think that's. But sometimes if the venue are saying, right, there's short times, everyone's got to use the same drums. Bring your snare drum, bring your cymbals. That happens. Do you know what I mean? But generally, no. I think especially doing bigger shows and stuff like
yeah.
that. Like because once you set your kit up, you don't. There's not. It might take you a couple of hours to get it all right, and then so if someone goes on and changes it, you don't really have the time to change it back and all that. So it's it's too
Oh,
much. It's too much. You can't take that chance really. But in smaller venues and stuff, like when it's just everyone's getting up, then that's just the way it's got to be. So you got to be
so
adaptable.
do you always take your drum kit with you, or
Yeah.
have you used other people's or other drummers' drum kit?
No, I've never really used other people's drum kits. Sometimes I've had to hire a drum kit, or if we haven't overseas, if you can't get anything, or like certain festivals,
Yeah.
um, and there'll be backline, but you got to get there first, or you end up with all like bad drums that don't match and all that kind of stuff.
Does it matter though? Uh, I mean, obviously, I mean, for drummers, they prefer their own setup, their own drum kit. But the brand, like different drumhead
Yeah,
brands, does it matter, or any
I think
drumhead?
so.
Like,
No, I think so. I like Remo drum heads. I don't like Evans. I don't like the way they feel. I don't like
oh, see, okay,
pretty much anything about them, and then that's just a personal thing. But I'm just so used to the way I set my kit up, or the way I tune the drums and the heads that I use. That's just what I like using, sort of thing. Yeah,
yeah, because sometimes I feel like, especially if they're being sponsored by a brand, when drummers are like, you have to use this and stuff, that maybe there's not really that much of a difference. Because I mean, I found out from doing this that there are different types of sticks,
yeah,
and with like numbers and like 5A or 7A and things like that. So and then there are also different brands. Like several brands of drumsticks. And
yeah.
sometimes, if you're being sponsored by one, then you shouldn't really be using other brands.
I guess that's where you gotta choose. Like, if you're getting offered something for free, it's like, do you really want it? Or you know what I mean? Are you just taking it because it's free, or or do you like it, sort of thing? I know that if I was to get offered certain things for free, I just wouldn't want them. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be,
So
I'd
if
be
it's not a
confident.
Remo head, you
I,
wouldn't.
not really. Well, I'd try it if it was different ones, but I've never. And it's not. I know Evans make great heads and all that, but it's just not for me. You know what I mean? And other drummers swear by them, and they don't like Remo heads. And I know
Yeah,
there's other companies that I haven't tried that I'd be willing to give a go, but it's you just. I think if you're into your sound, to compromise it just to get something for free, I'm not into that really. I'd rather go without.
yeah. That's brilliant. That's actually very good. Because I mean, like I said, I told you before that I don't really ask technical drumming things because I don't know much about drumming. But it's nice to know that all these different brand things and the sticks and everything because I like learning more about drums. I mean, I suppose you could say I'm a frustrated drummer because I wanted to become one but couldn't.
Like,
So that's why I asked you before. It's got to be in you. I do believe that
yeah,
even if you try to learn it,
I think it's a bit of both. I think you could learn though. It's never too late to learn. I always people who say, "Oh, I can't coordinate myself and I could never play the drums." Within 5 minutes, I can teach them a beat and they can play it. And they're, "Oh, right." If you can walk, you can play. If you got rhythm, there's some sort of rhythm. It is in you. You're going to be able to do something. You know what I mean? I just think if you love it, then do it. And who knows?
yeah, who knows? Yeah, that's right. Well, let's talk about drumming heroes. Do you have any drumming heroes?
Many, yeah. Well, I guess like the people who I've mentioned, all of the early English drummers, and then you see the drummers who like from I guess yeah, I go all the way back to like early drummers like Louis Armstrong's drummers, Big Sid Catlett and Chick Webb and a bunch, and then like Gene Krupa. I like it, like I said, like Sonny Payne, who's near it, like he was Count Basie's drummer, and he was very flash and flamboyant and all that, twirling the
Yeah,
sticks. Art Blakey is a big one. I love Art Blakey. A lot of jazz drummers, and then going into like, oh God, Levin Helm. I love him, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Al Jackson Jr. I don't know, just some Steve Gadd, I like him. So many good drummers. Yeah,
Any Liverpool drummer apart from Paul Maguire?
well, obviously Ringo. You know what I mean? I think Ringo's amazing drummer. And like, God, there's a lot. You know, yeah, there's been some really good players.
Of course, because you do the Beatles covers with the Jaded Hearts Club, so you got to do some Ringo
Yeah,
drumming.
yeah, and it's not easy. I'm telling you that some of the early stuff's really not easy.
Wow. Have you met him? Have you met Ringo Starr?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He came to we were recording in Sunset Sound, and he come and give us a visit and spent the afternoon with us. Yeah, he was cool.
Oh, wow. Do you get starstruck?
Do you know what? Like, not really. I just try and everyone's just people, and even though like I really admire someone, I met Hal Blaine. I met him once, and I welled up and got
Wow.
emotional. So I guess with him, he's not a star, but he was just someone who I never thought that I'd come across, and we just met him in House of Pancakes. It was in California, and it was just by chance, and I got totally like emotional, like started crying just because I wasn't expecting it, and he was just like such a hero. So maybe it's like not starstruck, but just anyone who's had such a big impact on you. It
Yeah.
overwhelmed me maybe to um, meet them, but they're just people at the end. Everyone's just people, and I think that's how I think most people want to probably be thought of that way and spoke to that way rather than like adored or whatever. I guess some people want that. But
Well, what are you like with fans though? Like, are you okay with them so like coming up to you and then asking for photos and signatures and
oh yeah, I think it's amazing. Like it doesn't happen that often to me, but you know, you can. Yeah, I think it's lovely. I think it's really yeah, it's a nice it's a lovely thing really. It's nice to know that you've I don't know give someone joy in some sort of way, and then when
yeah?
they tell you I think that's it's an amazing thing. Yeah, it's lovely.
Have you had anyone so like start crying when they saw you? Oh my god!
No, only want me to leave. No.
Oh. What about drumming disasters? Have you ever had any accidents? Well, all these years that you've been playing drums.
Oh, yeah, many. Do you know? I guess one of the most like just a trivial thing is when you used to wear like bootcut jeans or like wider jeans. If you've ever got wider pants,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
the beater would get stuck inside the pants. And that was always a bad one if that ever happened. But yeah, just
well,
that. Really.
I've seen something on social media saying that's the reason why drummers wear shorts
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
because they don't want that. But you've never had anything like maybe falling off your drum chair or something, or
No, I've not that, but I've you have cymbals falling over and drums falling over and a shaky riser and everything's going everywhere, and then you like because I sing and play the drums, your drum mic swirls around, and it's
yeah.
always there's always something going on. It's always a lot of moving parts.
But you can always, be a professional and make sure you get.
Yeah,
And then I think that's the reason why you do need a drum tech because that's what they're there from. That if there's something happens, they could easily go around and fix it.
yeah, no, that's definitely when the drum tech come into it. Like when you're playing and something goes wrong, they've got to be there. That's when they're needed the most.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask you my final question for you. What would be your advice to aspiring drummers or sorry, musicians in general? So,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd. it's hard. Maybe not, and just try and really love the music that you play and listen to the music. Don't just get bogged down in what the drums are or like like try like. I think a lot of the time people look for like a written explanation of what something is instead of just trying to figure it out themselves and listen to what's happening with the music. So I just think listen to the music and try and see things from where other people are coming from in the band as well, kind of thing, rather than just from a drummer's perspective. Because I think we have a unique seat in the band. If we're sitting, we can kind of hear everything that's going on, and we're playing with everything. That's how I see it anyway. So, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like you're driving the band, or you're kicking what's going on, and you're amplifying things by sort of accenting what other people are doing, or just holding it down for them to do what they do. And so I think yeah, be a musician is what as I would say, and not just a drummer.
Not just yeah. So all the drum parts are, um, I don't know whether do you write drum bits or drum parts, just like lyrics or like things. So those are all made or written by yours or made by all the
Yeah, well, we
song.
never write anything. I guess in the Zutons it'd just be sometimes Dave would have a drum part where he hears in his head through the song, and that's where you have
Oh
to kind of respect someone. If he's got a solid idea, then I'll go okay and try that, and then put my own thing into it. Or I might play something that's totally wacky, and oh no, it should be that, and I'll be like, I never thought it would be that. But I think that's the other thing that you have to respect the songwriter and what they want, and don't have like a and it's like you like don't have an ego about coming up with all the drum parts or wanting to get a drum fill in, or if it just just be just serve the song and serve what's going on, sort of things. That's the main
yeah,
thing. So it doesn't like wherever the beat comes from. But that's 90% of the beats I will have come up with. But a lot of the time songwriters they hear something in the head. I'm a songwriter too, and when I hear a song, you hear a beat, and then if someone's trying to do a different beat, you're like, can you just try this? And it might not be the final thing, but you want to hear that first, so you need to respect that, I think.
yeah. And the cowbell part, that's yours.
Yes, I've always got one there. So
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sean. I'm really glad that you said yes because I sent you a message before that I obviously didn't see that message that I sent you. And when you finally did, I'm really glad that you said yes to Ask the Drummer.
no, no,
And I,
pleasure. Thanks for
yeah,
having
I wish you good luck with everything because
me.
you know it would be nice to see you again play
Yeah,
live.
well, hopefully, I'm sure that I'll be playing live again soon. But that's I've missed it, to be honest, because I haven't done, yeah, I haven't played at all. Have I played? No, I haven't done a gig this year. So that's yeah, it's always nice when you get back on stage.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure the fans all want to see you play live as well. I really want to see you play all those drum bits
Um,
again. So, thank you so much,
thank
and yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and
thank you.
hopefully see you again soon. And hopefully I'll get to see the Jaded Hearts Club as well, because that's just an amazing group. It's like a super, super, super group. I think that's why. So, take care always, Sean. See
All right,
you.
thanks, Joanne. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank
Bye now.
you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live. Thank you, Monty, for watching from the hospital. I hope that your operation is successful and wish you speedy recovery as well. And once again, thank you so much to everyone who joined us live. In the UK, in the Philippines, and all over the world as well. I've got friends who are in America and Canada who I think are watching. So thank you to Sean Payne. Oh my God, it's absolutely amazing. He's really good. He's such a great drummer. Just like my friend Jenny. I want to say hello to Jenny as well, who sent me the link. Um, that she videoed from the pub, which I've forgotten in Stockport because they don't do gigs anymore. But yeah, it's a brilliant sort of like pub, that place. Anyway, so we'll be back next week with another amazing drummer guest. So hopefully you'll come back again next Sunday. It's going to be a late one because I think I'm going to another record fair on Sunday. But as always, love music, love life, love drummers. Because we've just seen Sean Payne there, and he's brilliant. He really is. So, yeah, always remember that drummers, as Joe Strummer, who had his birthday last week, I think, said once said that a band is only as good as its drummer, which I do agree with 100%. So see you all next week. Bye for now. Bye.